get started with our Southland Conference champions, Texas A&M Corpus Christi press conference with an opening statement from head coach Steve Lutz, and then questions.
Sure. I couldn't be more proud of this group of guys that I'm sitting here with and the group of guys that's in the locker room. Obviously we've had a little bit of an up and down type of season in terms of we opened up really well, and then we got in the middle of conference play and we lost, 5 of 6, 5 of 7, somewhere right in there. And then now we're on the opposite. We're back on a 7 of 8 or 8 of 9, I think is where we're at, somewhere right in there right now. And you always want to be playing your best basketball in March. And to these guys' credit, they stayed the course. We faltered a little bit, but then they got right back on course, and they never stopped believing in one another. And that shows the character of them and their willingness to sacrifice of themselves in order to win, so that we can make it to the NCAA tournament.
Coach, your first season with the Islanders, the stars aligned perfectly. Would you say?
Sure. I mean, although if the stars aligned perfectly, we'd be undefeated. Unfortunately, that's the normal response you get from a coach. But it's very, very surreal. And I said it in the post-game press conference. Each one of these guys took a chance on me. I mean, obviously, I was an unproven head coach. We recruited them all off Zoom pretty much. The only person I knew at this table was Jalen Jackson because, I've known him since he was a little kid. But other than that, no one knew one another. So we all came in, and there's some interesting days, right? Because they're getting to learn me. I'm getting to learn them. And they're not, and I tell them all the time, basketball and life, it's never perfect. There's some days they were mad at me or I was mad at them, but as long as you have each other's back and you know that you love one another and that you're always going to do what's best for one another, then it's all going to work out in the end. And they've stayed the course with that. They've never faltered, even on the days where it wasn't going our way.
And the chemistry, I know it's like we were just talking about your first season, but having that team chemistry, especially them trusting you trusting them, was that the hardest obstacle, or what would you say was the hardest obstacle your first year?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the hardest obstacles. I mean, when you have basketball players and young men 18 to 23, 24 years old, everyone has an ego, right? And everyone knows that they're a good basketball player, but it doesn't make any of these three better than the next three in the locker room. And in order for you to win at the highest level and for us to, ultimately go to the NCAA tournament, they had to put their egos aside. And, early in the year, Terrion wasn't even starting. He was the MVP of this tournament, right? Jalen Jackson and Terrion alternated minutes. Simeon Fryer is the only person on our team that has started every game. And I've always said, and I've always thought that we've had, 6, 7, 8, 9 starters. And I truly, truly believe that. And, it takes an incredible human being to put your ego aside and look at the good of the team and the ultimate goal of winning and going to the NCAA tournament, than to worry about your ego and your selfish, motivations. And these guys have all put all that aside and done what's best for the team.
We have questions for the student athletes.
Yes. Gentlemen, just talk about, the process, trusting in the process. Like Coach mentioned, with the exception of Jalen, he didn't know you, but you bought into the program, and now here you are, you're going to the NCAA tournament.
Basically, we just tried to buy into what Coach told us all season, and as you can see, it worked. And we're going to the tournament, and we're about to be dancing.
Yeah, it basically started in the summer, Some of us didn't trust him at first, but the more he told us things and the more we started to believe in him and winning and starting the season off better than we did last year, we realized that we got to believe him, just continue playing like how he wants us to play. And that's what we did. Now we're here.
Oh, so you guys are transfers. Just talk about, being able to meld with each other over the course of the season. It seems like, that first day of practice is probably getting to know you, but as the season went on, you guys obviously put it all together.
I'm going to be honest, when we all met at the beginning, we all clicked from the jump. None of us had bad vibes with anybody. We all clicked from the jump, and I think that's what helped us.
It started in the summer. We we got there June 8th. Just playing pickup together. That's when we started building our chemistry, and then we just had to put it together. One practice, coach put us in a circle, and he said everybody, including the coaches and the managers, we got to put a foot in so we can get to where we are, where we are now. And everybody put that foot in and believed in the process.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Terry, go ahead and put that in perspective for us, man. Like your coach just said, you didn't even start the season in the starting lineup, but now here you are in the postseason. You've been named the tournament MVP. Like, what does that feel like? What does that say about you and your coach and the process?
That really just says that everybody on our team can go. Jalen was starting over me, and like Jalen does what he does, and like I couldn't get mad at that because Jalen, he's a everyday person. So I just tried to do what Jalen did, and I just really piggybacked off Jalen for real.
But again, there was never any animosity among the guys, right? Like Terrion was never. I never noticed him saying, "Man, this is not right. I should be starting over Jalen." You know what I mean? He just, when he came in on the 17-minute mark or the 15-minute mark, he just played his best and he gave his best. And ultimately, I mean, if you give your best, it's going to be good enough. And each one of these guys have given their best, and ultimately it was good enough for us.
Guys, you obviously grew up watching Sunday selection shows. Was it going to feel like tomorrow knowing that you're going to be a part of that selection show?
It's an amazing feeling.
It's going to feel great.
It's an amazing feeling.
Definitely amazing feeling.
I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
Me too.
My whole life.
To focus on the game, talk about the ability of the defense, especially closing out. You hold them without a field goal for the last 5 minutes and 14 seconds. Just talk about the ability of the defense to just clamp down in basically what you put it in boxing terms, championship rounds.
As a group, we knew if we wanted to win the game, we had to get stops. So that's what it came down to. It. If the ball didn't go in, we weren't worried about it because we know if we got stops, and we were up. So if we got stops when the clock hit zeros, we were on top. And we just all locked in together. Every time we huddled, thing was we get stops. Every time we came out of a huddle, out of a timeout, it was get stops, and that's what we did.
Talk about just representing the conference. This is to all of you gentlemen. Of course, last year's representatives were able to upset and get some national attention to the conference. So just talk about what it feels like to be your representative of your conference and how you like your chances in the big games, regardless of who you play.
Yeah,
I got this. Yeah, no problem. I believe in each one of these guys in the locker room, and they believe in one another, and they believe in our staff. And just like we went to Notre Dame, or just like we went to Minnesota, or just like we went to Texas A&M, we have the belief that we can play with anybody. And when they throw the ball up and jump the ball at the beginning of the game, it doesn't matter the name of your jersey that's on the front of your jersey. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's in here. And these guys have what's in there, and they've proven that they have what's in there. And I'm not trying to be arrogant or boisterous, but I feel like that we obviously can compete with anyone in the NCAA tournament, and we're going to go into the NCAA tournament with the mindset of winning. We're not going into the NCAA tournament with the mindset of, hey, let's just go get the free Dove soap and deodorant out of the locker room. It's not like that. You know what I mean? We're going to win, and that's what we set our mind to do. These guys, and I don't know that people know this, but like Terrion went to the national tournament in his junior college. Trey Tennyson went to the national tournament in his junior college. These guys have won at high levels. Win a state title? Really close though, right? Close. Yeah, I mean, they've all played at high levels. And, this is just another opportunity for us to showcase our university and showcase our basketball program, and then obviously showcase these guys as well.
We can do one more question.
Coach, you told me early in the season, maybe even before games started, that you thought you had the pieces in the room to play for a Southland Conference tournament title. Here you are. You've won the Southland Conference tournament title. You know, what gave you that confidence that you already had the group, a bunch of guys that you'd only known for a couple of months at that point?
Well, when you get the job and you have a million people coming at you from a million different directions telling you what to do, I always tried to think in the back of my mind something that Greg McDermott told me when we were at Creighton is don't recruit anybody into the locker room that you wouldn't want to play with your son. And I never lost track of that. And I guess my point in saying that is I knew, kind of like Dick Bennett used to say, you got to know that you can lose with the guys in your locker room before you can win with them. And these guys are all good guys. They're all good guys. They're not perfect angels. They're college students just like anybody else. But I know that if I was going out of town, I could leave the keys to my house and they'd take care of things. Or I could leave, if I was stranded up on the side of the road, they'd come get me. And I guess my point being is that I knew that we had the right character in our locker room. And I felt like we had good enough talent as well. But it started with the character of the people inside the locker room. And I just never lost faith in that. And, it proved to be true. These guys, they're great ambassadors of Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and they're great ambassadors of our basketball program. And, man, I couldn't be more proud of them, to be very honest with you.
And thank you, Southland Conference
Cool.
champions. And with the time change, Selection Sunday will be here even.
Thank you.
You got to be kidding.